So, this isn't a game I originally had planned to do for this whole run through of the mainline 3D games, because technically speaking, it isn't a mainline 3D game. Shadow was more of a mainline 3D game because it contributed something to the main canon, whereas this game was meant to be a fresh start and appeal to the Western audiences. But as time went on during development, things were clear this game was not going to end up well. New studio Big Red Buttons were given the keys to the Sonic franchise and told to go wild and make it as Western as they wanted. But because they made it as Western as they wanted, they were constantly told by Sega, hey, don't do that. First of all, you gave them the permission to do this. Second of all, it clearly affected the final products, but I don't think that affected the final products nearly as much as this game being slated for the Wii U in 2014. From what I've heard, it was meant to have a 2015 release date and be on PS4 and Xbone, but it didn't end up doing that, did it? It was rushed out to meet a holiday season because of the contracts that Sega signed to make more money. Lost World managed to get around this because it was made for the Wii U from the ground up. Boom wasn't. And then as if to add insult to injury, they aired on a TV show, and they had the audacity to make it a damn good show. Now, my feelings toward this game are very different to many others because I'm approaching this game years after it came out. I bought this game a few months ago, and I bought it for the fun of it because I was buying Wii U, so why not? And my first impressions of the game were, Sonic, please shut up.
Let's take these one at a time to get across.
Anyone else notice it's raining robots?
We need to get across this cave. Guess we'll have to go through them to achieve that.
Let's do this.
Let's make short work of this oversized icebox. This should be easy if we work together.
Time for some fun.
And this game's a 5 out of 10. Nothing great, but nothing bad. If you remember from my Alien Force review, I said the worst thing a game can be is unmemorable. Because you remember a bad game, but you forget a memorable game. Now, yes, this game does have many technical issues. Frame rate bugs, Knuckles fucking flying, what the hell. But these technical issues these games have had have basically never been something that annoys me. I find fun in breaking these games. Does that mean I want them to be broken? Absolutely fucking not. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that the brokenness of this game doesn't help it. It's like Security Breach like that. I think I said that with 06 as well. Weird how we come full circle. Anyway, the story of this game is fairly simple but still confusing. It revolves around our 4 main characters, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, going out into the world and stopping a bad guy, Lyric, from doing whatever the hell he's doing here. I don't know how to feel about this. Is this a good game, a bad game? Well, that's not for me to decide. Now, something that is for me to decide. Yeah, this story's a fucking nightmare. My biggest problem with it is Sonic having to learn to rely on his friends. It's the start of a new continuity. I can get behind it. This didn't affect me when Ben 10 did it 14 fucking times in the same episode. Big accomplishment there, by the way. But it affects me more here because they're very flip-floppy on whether they like Sonic or not. Amy and Tails very rarely gets on Sonic case, but when they do, it doesn't feel earned. Because, like in the beginning, when Lyric is freed, who, by the way, Lyric is here for about 10 minutes, has no personality, can fuck off. But when Lyric is freed, the characters just kind of hate on Sonic, despite the fact they were in a losing battle and Sonic got them to safety. This wasn't Sonic's fault, and like I said, Lyric has no personality other than, I am menacing, be menaced. Eggman is here. I think that describes his part in the plot pretty well, actually. Metal Sonic is here. A copy and paste from Eggman. Shadow is here, a copy and paste from Eggman, but add on bad writing, yay! As for the gameplay itself, I like the structure. I like the structure of it being a 4-player multiplayer game, where each character gets to have their own unique ability that makes them different but shows off their key characteristics. Sonic is the fast one, has the homing attack, has spin dashes, Tails can glide and is the smart one so he can make little machine friends to go inside doors and blow up on people, and is a ranged attacker. Amy gets up close and personal with her hammer and has a triple jump and is very acrobatic, something that I think should be Amy's default state if she's ever playable again. And Knuckles is big, strong, and can climb up walls. But some characters become a lot better to use. A lot of Sonic sections are just homing attack, or spin dash up ramp, while Amy's acrobatic endeavours that don't ever get complex, but feel better to play than Sonic's, which is why I almost always played as Amy when the chance came up. This game is very unbalanced in that way. And if you play this game in 2-player, your frame rate gets halved. And it only goes to 2-player because your frame rate gets a half. I don't think they had the memory for more than 2 players. But given what this game was meant to be, it's fucking tragic it came out like this. It was meant to be this big Jak and Daxter style game, having the people who helped make Jak and Daxter behind it. But instead it became this rushed, buggy mess of a game with story that's inconsequential, doesn't even tie into the main TV series. All for the better, of course. It has this weird charm to it that makes me weirdly like some of it. But it commits the cardinal sin of just being boring and unremarkable. The locations look fine, they look average for a 360 game. This was 2014 on the Wii U, so that's the best you're getting. The music is generic orchestral OST. There's none of that Sonic, behind it. And it's sold so bad the effects of it are still being felt. Nearly 10 years later. So many people were just sold off from Sonic Team, just gone, sacked, gone for good. Because Sega couldn't financially recover from this without doing that. I'm glad the team that made it, Big Red Button, is still active, they're still alive, people still have their jobs. I'm all for that. And I don't think much of the blame should be put on them. Just like how I don't think much of the blame of Sonic games going the direction they've been going in for the past 15 years is the fault of Sonic Team and is the fault of Sega. Sometimes studio interference does just fuck things up. And then sometimes you get Sonic Lost World. What the hell was that game? At least this game doesn't force me into Green Hill and Chemical Plant 18 times in a row. Because that would just be a bad game right there if I was forced to. Oh no, what's the next game, isn't it? Yeah, next time we get to take a look at Sonic Forces, the grand return to big 3D boosting Sonic games. None of those are correct. That statement is entirely false. Other than maybe Boost. But even then, we can get into it when we get there. So, until then, take care. Bye!